You are listening to Three Kitchens podcast, hosted by Heather Dyer and Erin Walker. To find our complete catalog of episodes, check out any of your favorite podcast players.
Or our website, threekitchenspodcast.com. Welcome to Three Kitchens Podcast. We're your hosts. I am Heather Dyer. I'm here with Erin Walker.
Hello, hello.
And we're very pleased today to have a guest. Her name is Chef Colleen Cackowski. She is co-author of the book, the Diabetes-Free Cookbook and Exercise Guide. And I am going to let you talk about the book, Colleen, but I like this description. If you're ready to transform your approach to managing diabetes or prediabetes and take a delicious journey to a healthier, happier you, this book is your gateway. I think that is a beautiful way to sum up what this book is about, and we're very happy to have you here with us today, Colleen.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here also. I'm excited to share about the book.
Yeah. So why don't we start there? What's the book about?
Okay, well, this is co-authored with Dr. John Putilil. He is a doctor who has researched and studied type 2 diabetes for decades. And his kind of mission in the world is to educate people that his view is diabetes type 2 is caused by the grains and too much carbs in the diet, because the way the grains in our culture today have been hybridized and the way that they're grown, it just kind of causes upset in the body. So he's written a few scientific books on his theories, and people would say, well, if we can't eat greens and we can't eat carbs, which is, flour, corn, rice, all those kinds of things, anything with wheat in it. Well, what do we eat? Because it's such a staple in our diet. And he said, well, just not that. And then you're like, yeah, but what? So they finally came up with the idea, well, let's do a cookbook and give people practical ways to eat that keeps your blood sugar balanced. And this book is not just for people with diabetes, honestly. It's really just a healthy diet book. It does help keep the blood sugar stable, but all the recipes are wheat-free, corn-free, rice-free, any kind of flour-free, except for chickpea flour I use, or some higher protein types of grains, like a little bit of quinoa, something like that. So we came up with this idea, and I came up with all the recipes in the book based on his philosophy about type 2 diabetes. And we wanted to make it really fun and delicious, because a lot of people also think if you're eating healthy, you're sacrificing flavor. And this is absolutely not the case with the recipes in this book.
Why don't we start with what is diabetes? So I think we all are familiar with Erin and I were talking before, we're familiar with kind of basically what it is, but what happens in the body for someone who has diabetes?
Well, there's not 100% agreement on what exactly diabetes is all about. That's why Dr. John has his theory and other people have different theories, but basically it appears as though the insulin gets overstimulated and then it doesn't respond appropriately when there's too much sugar coming into the body, because the insulin is meant to manage the sugar in the bloodstream. And when it doesn't react properly, the bloodstream gets overloaded with sugar, and that's why people have high glucose readings when they get their blood tested. And if you have too high of a blood sugar reading, it can cause serious problems. That's why people with diabetes have oftentimes problems with vision or circulation or neuropathy. And then if you have a low blood sugar drop, you can go into a coma. So people are always having to manage their sugar. But if you eat a certain way, you actually keep your blood sugar balanced. You don't have those highs and lows and those kind of jittery jumps and dull lags and really tired feelingness, those kinds of things that happen.
So, what led you to then focus on diabetes with Dr. John?
Well, I have some experience in this because my dad is type 2 diabetic. But food and diet is a really big factor in managing type 2 diabetes. So I had a personal interest in it. Plus, my background is also in healthy eating. For 30 years, I've been interested in part of the natural food industry. I was a raw food chef for many years. I was a certified nutritionist, a health coach. I worked for a number of different companies. I worked with different chefs, and all of my specialties are about helping people who have particular dietary requirements. For example, they need to be gluten-free, they need to be sugar-free, they need to be low carb, vegan, high protein, whatever it is, dairy-free. I'm really good at making recipes with substitutions. So that was my forte. And when this job came along, it just felt like I was a perfect fit for it.
Can you tell us basically what is the difference between pre-diabetic type 1 and type 2 diabetes? You don't need to go into like too much scientific detail, but what are we talking about when you say type 2, for example?
Well, type 1 diabetes is people who are born with a certain condition, and it's actually treated differently from type 2. Type 2 typically refers to people who have developed the condition over their lifetime based on their lifestyle habits and other factors like stress and things. So type 1 is a different can of worms. It's just that's a medical situation, but type 2 definitely can be improved through lifestyle choices, particularly food. It makes a big difference in your blood sugar. So pre-diabetes is when you're starting to approach blood sugar being really out of balance. It's when you take your fasting glucose levels and they're over 100 in the morning. You want to be under 100 in your fasting glucose levels. When they get to a certain point, then it's actually turns the corner and it's called type 2 diabetes. But it's all just a spectrum of how much imbalance or out of balance your blood sugar is. And it can be affected really quickly. Your body wants to heal. Your body wants to be in balance. You just have to give it the right environment to do that.
Okay. I'm curious about the Dr. John's philosophy about the carbs. So how did that come about? I mean, I know it might be difficult for you to speak on his behalf, but how did that come about in his research?
All I really know is that he's done a lot of research and clinical studies. He's very scientifically based. He's a very serious research clinical scientist, and his studies show that the effect of the grains on the blood is very important and significant. So when you test people eating different foods and compare it to when they're eating these grains and sugars, there's a dramatic difference. So all you have to do is take out the offending factors and people's blood sugar becomes more balanced. It's simple like that. And then the overriding philosophy is just focus on healthy proteins and healthy fats, a minimal amount of healthy carbs, but not anything processed. So it's really simple, actually. You don't need to follow recipes. You just need to choose foods that are mainly protein, healthy fat, and vegetables.
Okay.
And make them delicious. This is
And make
where
them delicious. That's the
you
tricky
come
part.
in.
That's right.
So when you wrote this book, was it mainly for newly diagnosed individuals or caregivers or general audience? Where did you what group of people, who did you write this book for?
I wrote the book for people who want to be healthy. So people who have an investment in being healthy. And the book is about type 2 diabetes. So people who have issues with blood sugar, because a lot of times people with blood sugar feel like they're deprived. They can't have these things that they love that make them feel good and nurtured. So I try to make food that feels very satisfying and it's also delicious and nutritious. Um, but it's also for anybody just wanting to manage their blood sugar or anybody just wanting to eat healthy. It's not really delineated just for people with diabetes. It's just basically healthy recipes, and it could be applying to anybody. So is that it's not just a recipe book. There's
Mhm.
also a bunch of information in the book about diabetes, about the ingredients that I used, about different factors in lifestyle and choices that people make. It's also got the exercises. It's got all different kinds of foods. It's kind of a comprehensive display of all the things that affect lifestyle. And so that's why I think the book has won 5 awards for small press books because it's got such a comprehensive collection of information.
Yeah, because
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
I assume that if you're facing a diagnosis of pre-diabetic or you're dealing with type 2 diabetes, that, anytime we are faced with having to make changes in our lifestyle, it can be really overwhelming
Yeah.
to make the adjustments and the adaptations. And maybe we don't know all of them, right? If someone's just exercising or somebody's just trying to modify their diet, right? There's all those things that need to come together. And so I think putting all that information in there, like at the beginning of your book, you had a lot written in there to
Yeah.
educate, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really, really helpful to provide people with that education and information so that they can make the choices that are best for themselves, right?
Yes. So that's why we did try to make it a comprehensive book for people that's really helpful. The main goal was really just to help people. So we tried to make the book a comprehensive resource for people. And the thing is, if people are overwhelmed or they're just getting into it and they're just trying to make changes in their life, the best thing you can do is start slow. Just
Mm.
add one thing or just change one thing. And it's easier to add something in than to take something away because people are already feeling a little deprived and they're feeling like, oh, I can't have what I want to have, or that, life is lacking some kind of sweetness for them typically. So that's why they compensate with sugar and other things to make them feel kind of the endorphin rush of life can be sweet again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to give all these kinds of options. And so what I always recommend is maybe you just take one day a week and you make recipes from the book one day a week. Or you
Mm.
make, one dinner a week or something, or you add one extra serving of vegetables, or you just switch out one thing, like the breads section in the recipe book. The breads are amazing. And a lot of times people really just love bread. So having an alternative that's there is going to be great and it's very satisfying. And the other thing is having some treats in the fridge that you've already prepared so that when you're in kind of a dull spot or you need something or a stressful spot and you want to reach for something unhealthy, you already have something prepared that's easy to get to and you don't grab for that convenience food or that fast food, you get something healthy instead.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. I love this idea of starting small and with even just one meal.
When you start to do that and you add one thing in and then you get comfortable with it and then you can add another thing in and over some time the other things that you do that aren't as healthy will start to kind of fade away. So it's a really
Mm.
natural way to make a transition rather than just kind of jumping in trying to do it all at once because that's usually not sustainable.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And cutting something as big as a whole group, a food group like
Yes.
grains all at
Yeah,
once,
it's hard.
that's a big change for
It's
people.
a big change and most people can't do it and sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I recommend, just trying like the pita bread recipe in the book is amazing. It's so easy, and the bread is really bread-like, but there's absolutely no bread in it.
Oh, what's it?
You could,
What's the base of it?
it's almond flour and psyllium.
Oh,
Okay.
that
Yeah,
sounds cool.
yeah, it's
I
really
should note
good.
that one. Hmm.
And yeah, so if you have that in the fridge already, you can just grab that, and it's absolutely delicious. It's one of the recipes I get asked to do the most. Um, and some of the snacks in the back too. I like to take one day a week to do food preparation.
Mm.
So perhaps on Sunday before the work week starts, I get a lot of stuff done in a few hours. Then during the week, I'm only just warming things up or assembling things. I take 10 minutes, to get my food ready because I've already spent the time and it doesn't have to be a big time consuming routine that I have to engage in every day.
Hmm.
That's really good advice because I think we often will grab for the
Yep.
things that are available right away or fall into the patterns that we know because despite your best efforts during the week or if your weekends are your busy time, it's like all of a sudden five
Easy.
o'clock is here and now
Yeah.
you need to eat or everybody else in your house needs to eat too. And
Get
so
hangry.
integrate it, yeah. And you've got no space for making those, decisions
Yeah.
or creative thinking or, oh wait, what should I do instead? So yeah, putting that advice of prepping things and
Perfect things.
getting ahead
I'll
of
make a
the
big
game.
batch of soup and I'll put them in mason
Mm.
jars. And
Yes.
I can have, several jars of soup and you can freeze those and you can just have them. And it's
Hmm.
so easy.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
The sugar is one of the biggest culprits in diabetes, obviously, the processed sugar, because it metabolizes so quickly. That's where you get the really big blood spikes.
Hmm.
So what we recommend is you use food-based sweeteners, for example, using dates in recipes instead of processed sugar, because dates also have fiber and lots of minerals. And what that does is when it gets into your digestive system, the fiber slows down the metabolism of the sugars. So it doesn't spike your blood so fast. It gives you a gradual increase, which gives you energy, but also gives you nutrition with all the minerals. But with processed sugar, all those minerals and things are stripped out of the sugar, and you're just getting that spike. It's like a drug.
Hmm.
It just, excites your brain, and that's why people want that stimulation. If they get tired, you want sugar to give you a little energy. But the problem is that also over time wears down your kidney system, your adrenals, because it gives you that spike, but it's an empty spike and it doesn't have the nutrition backing it up.
Because I've heard a lot about the balance between sugars and fibers,
Mhm.
and that helps. So it helps in the metabolism of the sugar.
Yes, and that's the rest again with the recipes in the book. When you eat the protein with healthy fats and fiber, all those things are designed to slow down the metabolism. That's why. The carbs are what gives you that fast jolt of sugar, which is what the spike of blood is. You don't want that spike. You want it to be a slow, up and down like this instead of a
Right.
quick spike of sugar. So that's why the recipes, basically you could choose anything you want to eat as long as it has protein, fiber, and healthy fats, and that will slow the blood sugar. You could take a slice of sweet potato and make sweet potato avocado toast. That's delicious.
Mm.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
sweet potato acts like the bread?
Yep. You
Oh.
slice it like a quarter inch of sweet potato and
Mhm.
roast that and then put your topping on top of it like a slice of bread.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting and colorful. I kind of like that it.
Colorful. So you get your antioxidants, you get your beta carotene, you get fiber. It is a little sweet, but it's got the avocado and it's all balanced and it's much better for you than regular bread.
Hmm, I like that. I never
Yeah.
would have thought to
No,
eat sweet potato like that.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
just love the way that's going to look too in
Yeah,
my
I think
mind.
It's so
Those
pretty.
colors are so pretty
And you
because
eat
yeah.
that's
with your
part of
eyes
it.
first. Yeah, when
Yeah.
you look at your plate, you start eating when you see it. So your
Hmm.
body's already getting ready for digestion through your
Mm.
eyes and your visual experience of the food. That's why we focused a lot on plating in the book too. When you make your food pretty, your
Hmm.
body is like, oh yes, I'm being nurtured and loved, and you actually feel good when you're eating your food. So the one thing is to make it look beautiful, and then the second thing following up is it has to taste amazing. And
Mhm.
that's the other thing about these recipes is one of my fortes is flavor balancing. And I learned early on how to flavor balance food. So you have to have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and spicy or pungent. And they all should be present as much as possible, but in different quantities, depending on what your dish is. So a lot of these dishes are really flavor balanced. And I think the dish that you worked with today is definitely one of those.
Mm.
Yeah. So let's get into talking about the dish that you recommended because I was the one who had a chance to cook it and then
Okay.
share it with Heather. Can you tell us why you chose the recipe that you did
Sure.
and what
It's
recipe that you chose, I guess? We know we should share with everybody else.
well, what's it? It's good. Dijon salmon with capers is the recipe, and I selected it because it's so easy. I hope you had the same experience that it can be prepared very quickly and very little effort, very few ingredients, and absolutely delicious. And this is again one of the favorite recipes that get requested from people. Um, but it's so easy. It can be paired with a lot of different things. I put it with some roasted asparagus, or you can put it with green beans, or just a nice green salad to keep it low carb. But it's delicious, hot or cold, very easy to make, and it's got all of the elements of the sweet, sour, salty, bitter, spicy, pungent elements. So everybody, the thing is about the flavor balancing, I come from a background of Chinese medicine, and in Chinese medicine, there's different energy meridians that work through the body. And the main meridians associate with the main organs of the body. So, for example, there's a heart meridian, there's a stomach meridian, there's a liver meridian, and then there's flavors that associate with those meridians. And in the food's flavor will feed the meridian that's associated with the flavor. So, for example, if you're diabetic, you're typically out of balance with your sweet meridians, right? Which is stomach and spleen. So, if you feed yourself sweet foods, not too much, but the healthy kind of sweet, you're balancing that meridian by giving it that energy. So this recipe actually has all of the sweet, sour, spicy, bitter, pungent elements. So no matter what element you're out of balance in, and everybody's out of balance in different ones, different times, it will feed that energy.
I never heard anything about any of that, and now I feel like that's a whole other episode we need to talk about.
It's a whole
Right.
book in itself.
Yeah.
Yes. When are you writing that
Fascinating.
one, Colleen?
Yeah, I would love to get that one next. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very cool. And I love that this recipe has all those.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's like I can make food that people love and they have no idea what's in it, but it has just a little bit of those other elements. So for example, bitter foods, people don't typically like bitter foods, but if you put a little parsley on something, you're adding bitterness. And people usually ignore the parsley, but parsley is a really important medicine. That's the opposite of sweet is bitter. So a lot of times people with diabetes need more bitter foods. So
Mm.
adding a little bit of parsley or fresh herbs or something is really going to help keep that balance.
Oh.
I find that interesting because I think we've talked about it before, but I feel like over time I've become more attracted to bitter foods. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like something I seek out and something that
Yeah.
I crave
Yeah.
and
Your
something
body's
that I
telling you.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's really healthy. That's really healthy. I think
Mm.
sometimes people with diabetes might have a resistance to bitterness because they need that sweet, sweet, sweet. But really,
Mm.
when you start introducing those bitter foods, your cravings and your desire for sweet reduce because you get more balanced and you get more
Mm.
healthy and normalized. And then it's like, oh, okay. Then you have something sweet. You're like, whoa, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize how sweet it was before because your tolerance had gotten so high.
Hmm.
Ah,
So
yeah.
having that bitterness that keeps things balanced. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. I've heard before that people say if you're craving something sugary, eat something pickled. Is that
Mhm.
kind of the same idea?
Okay, that is similar. And basically, here's another whole concept.
Oh boy.
We're getting into the big stuff now. Okay, so if you're craving sugar, a lot of times people think, I am craving sugar. You are not craving sugar. Your gut microbiome bacteria are
Mm.
craving sugar.
Oh.
So we think we are a human being and we are who we are, but you're really a collection of consciousness of all of the living beings inside of you. You're actually 90% bacteria, not by quantity, not by the size of the cell, but by the number of the cells. So we're
Mm.
actually mainly um, an effect of our gut. And
Mm.
if your gut bacteria is out of balance, your cravings and things are going to be out of balance. So I suggest for people if they have cravings to go for protein, fermented foods, or healthy fat.
Mm.
And just you have to use willpower a few times to just push through it.
Mm.
But when you
Mhm.
start feeding your good bacteria and starving the bad bacteria, your gut gets into a better health and you start reducing those cravings.
Hmm. We have so many times come across the gut microbiome conversation,
Mhm.
haven't we, Erin? It keeps popping up. Clearly,
Yeah.
it's important. Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have as much agency as we think, right? We're just being
No, and
controlled
here's the
by
deal.
all these other things.
A little.
That's true. And so that's the thing is you think it's you that wants it,
Yeah.
but it's not you. It's your bacteria going, ah, feed me, I'm dying, I need food. And so your craving wants that sugar and it's like life or death to them. And that's why the
Mm.
craving is
Yeah.
so intense because it is life or death for them, but it's not life or death for you. And then it's like a snowball effect because you just get tired and you don't want to exercise and you
Mm.
don't want to go out and you don't want to do all those things and your passion for life just kind of gets dulled. So when you start to
Mm.
clear out your body and you start to feed that good bacteria, you lower your sugars, you clear out the brain fog, you have more energy, you sleep better, and that kind of momentum is what propels you to keep going and to keep, if you start with 1 day, go to 2 days because you're noticing changes. It
Mm.
will help your body notice changes and it'll give you that momentum and you'll feel better and you'll see results quickly.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's very true. There is that positive feedback once you start in something. And even though it's that resistance of getting over those moments that are tough, you
Yeah.
do get that reward of feeling better and having that energy and that clearness.
Yeah, and you have to kind of just remind yourself that that feeling that lasts all the time and the health that you're giving yourself is much more valuable than that momentary instant of
Hmm.
instant gratification.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this recipe was super easy to make. I often don't cook with fish because I have a family member who doesn't eat it.
Mhm.
But making salmon and having these flavors on there, it was delicious. I really, really appreciated the capers in there. I think I've
Okay, I have a
made,
story about capers. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
okay,
good.
ooh,
We're big fans over here, Erin and I. We love our
I love
capers.
capers.
yeah.
Every time you have a problem, the solution is right around you, right? It's right in your vicinity. So, for example, a lot of people have this problem with sugar and they need the bitter. So, what grows in everyone's lawn that they don't want? Dandelion.
Mm,
Dandelion is bitter. Dandelion greens are amazing foods, and they're in everybody's backyard, but we kill them.
mm,
So it's like the solution to the problem is right there. So capers, interestingly, are high in lithium. Lithium is good for your mood. People in Jerusalem go to the Wailing Wall and they're praying for problems. They're crying, they're sad, they're upset, they're holding onto the wall. I've been there a few times. And all around them are these branches of capers coming out of the walls. And the capers have lithium, which makes you feel better and elevates your mood. So, right where people are asking for help and emotional support, there are the capers. So, capers are really great mood enhancement. And it's just like you just have to kind of look up and see that the universe is providing the solution right in front of you. We just have to open our eyes.
Yeah, I like the story. And I love capers.
mm.
Yeah. I always have extra capers. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, because I got to eat the salmon, but I didn't make it, and I have read the recipe, but it's been a little while. So refresh my memory. What went into this salmon recipe?
okay, we start with you can either start with salmon fillets or use like a big flank of salmon. I prefer wild salmon rather than farmed just because of the nutrition. So whatever kind of salmon you have, ideally wild, you start with that. And then I took 2 tablespoons of soft butter, not melted, but not hard, because you want to be able to mix it in, along with quarter of a cup of chopped up fresh parsley and a quarter cup of Dijon mustard, and you mix it all together and then you put in a few cloves of garlic that are minced, um, and then add some capers and you spread it on top of the salmon, and then you add a little salt and pepper. You bake it in the oven, you take it out and you give it a squeeze of lemon and a splash of olive oil, and that's it. Very simple.
And all those little bits that are in there, like adding the capers. I think if you're maybe not used to them, this is a great way to pop them in and then maybe learn a bit more about their taste because it's not just like they're on their own.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so
And
they're
it's kind of
integrated with
complements the,
everything.
yeah, it complements the mustard. It's like a salty sour flavor adding to
Mm-hmm.
it. The parsley is the bitter. Mustard is sour, the butter and the salmon are sweet, and the garlic is the pungent. So it's got
Mm-hmm.
all the flavors, and then the lemon is sour also.
That squeeze
Um,
of lemon on top is,
oh
it
yeah,
makes
that's the best.
everything pop, right? So those
Yeah,
are like,
absolutely.
to me, the two things that have to be included are the capers and the lemon because they bring out all the other flavors and just like satisfy your whole mouth. Like you talk about flavor balancing, those are the things for me that I found were the
Yeah,
essentials.
and I do love the lemon. Lemon is a longevity food. I have lemon every single day. I put lemon into almost everything I make. But it's one of those foods that stimulates your glands to work better. It's just keeps your body clean. It's a really healthy food to have, and I just put a little splash on as much as I can. I drink a lot of lemon water, things like that.
So, from your perspective, is there a difference between what you get in a bottle of lemon juice, or are you strictly fresh lemons? What's your
Strictly fresh,
okay?
strictly fresh, because anything that sells in a bottle or a jar is going to be pasteurized. And so
Mm,
all those living elements, the enzymes and the healthy, delicate, natural aspects of the food are killed when you pasteurize food. So what I do actually, and this is another tip, I get a bag of lemons at the store, and part of my food prep is I'll squeeze the whole bag into a mason jar, and
mhm,
that jar of lemon juice will stay in the fridge a long time. It doesn't go bad that easily, or you can freeze it too.
mhm.
Um, and so when you want your lemon juice, you've got it's already squeezed.
Yeah.
So it's no difference between having a bottle of lemon that you bought at the store and your fresh lemon, except your fresh lemon is so much healthier for you. And the bottle at the store has probably citric acid in it and some other preservatives, which are not so good for you.
Mm,
Mhm. So I think salmon is um, a good one for anyone who's maybe a little bit picky. Maybe not the person like in Erin's family who doesn't like to eat any fish or seafood, but if they're open to fish, it's very mild. It doesn't have any strong flavor. It's easy to cook, and like you said, it's good hot or cold. Like when it even the next day, you
mhm,
don't have to like, oh, do I reheat? Well, what do I do with my salmon? You just eat it cold, like have it with salad or whatever the next day if you have extra.
Exactly. Yeah.
mhm.
It's something that my kids really love to eat, salmon, just because I think it's such a neutral sort of flavor that you can
Yeah.
have it with whatever you're having it with, and it's delicious. Like
It's
it's
very versatile. And like you
yeah.
said, it has a mild flavor. Most people really like it. Um, but you could use this topping with other fish also. Um, yeah, or you could just use it even with vegetables. I mean, a lot of times I'll just take a bunch of vegetables and steam them and put some kind of a spice topping on it, and I'll just have that as a meal, and that's delicious to me also.
Mm, yeah, I like this idea on
Mhm.
like cauliflower, which is another one of those very
Yes.
neutral flavored
Yep.
veggies, right? And
Goes well
I
with
have
capers.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, because now you're putting something delicious onto
Yeah.
it, whereas it might have been like, oh, cauliflower, kind of boring.
Just
Not
bland. Yeah,
anymore.
that's right. This
Yeah,
should be renamed the Caper Show.
Yeah.
because we love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this salmon. I shared it with one of my kids who happened to be there when Erin brought my little delivery of food over, and it was not too far. It was kind of getting close to dinner time, but we opened it, and he loves salmon, so he's like, "Can I taste it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to taste it too." And then before you know it, the entire piece was gone because we both just kept going back, and we're like,
One
"Oh
more
well, we're about to
taste.
eat dinner, but we've just eaten salmon." But because it was so good, we couldn't stop going back. So
I'm glad you liked it.
it's a
Yeah,
winner.
I
it's a
like
good one to start with. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like that just because you're on a diet or you're trying to change your diet or adjust diet, it doesn't mean that it's not flavorful. And I think that's really comes through in this recipe.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's funny, my dad actually, I sent him one of the books and he started cooking the recipes out of the book. And he's like, "You forgot one of the words in the title. It should say gourmet." Because he felt like he was eating at a restaurant every day with these recipes. And they're just things you can do at home.
Yeah.
But they do taste like restaurant quality recipes. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's some high praise probably because anytime you make something yourself at home, for those of us who are not chefs, when we
Mm.
make something at home and we feel like it's restaurant quality, like, wow, I made this and it feels
Yeah.
like something that I would have had at a restaurant, that's a sign of a good recipe, I think.
Hmm.
And I think that's a great recipe to start with if you look at the book, that it's definitely something that's going to impress your friends and family, and easy to do, simple way to start, and really turns out easily very well.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, have you and Dr. John received feedback on the book from people who said they've been introducing your recommendations into their diet and making your recipes and seen changes? Have you heard feedback from
Yes.
people?
We have had some testimonials actually on Amazon where most people can get the book. There's several testimonials there that show people's feedback and how they are trying the recipes at home and how they really are enjoying them and feeling better eating healthy food. I had one client said immediately her metabolism shifted and she noticed changes, more energy, better sleep, um, things like that, just feeling better, less brain fog,
Hmm.
things like that. And we also, this book has won 5 awards. So in the book industry, people are recognizing it, the quality of the book. And I think it's because it was a really strong team effort and it's a comprehensive book that includes not just the recipes, but a lot of information just about food, about diabetes, about exercise, about nutrition, lifestyle, a lot of different things. So it's not just a book, a recipe book. It's not just a book for people with diabetes. It's a book about health.
Hmm. And
Mhm.
it's so much easier to make changes when you feel like you have the power and you've been educated and you've been given that information rather than just being told, change your diet.
Yes,
Mm.
and that's an important point
Mhm.
too, that we need to take health into our own hands. We
Hmm.
can't be reliant on people telling us what to do all the time. We have to recognize that we are the person who knows our body the best. We are the one who's responsible for our own health, and it's the choices that we make that are going to affect our health. So,
Yeah,
Hmm.
good point. Because even if diabetes is not on the radar for you,
yeah,
you know that,
yeah,
I mean, you know if you eat too much sugar. I know I eat too much sugar, too much processed stuff. And
yeah,
at different times in my life, I've tried different types of diets. But as you said earlier, the thing that tripped me up every time is trying to abstain from something completely.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you just feel you're always thinking about it because you're
yeah,
denying yourself this thing and you're
yeah.
not replacing it properly. Now I see it's like a bigger picture.
So if you have like I have a recipe for bliss balls in the back and I have some healthy cookies and things like that that a lot of people like those convenient snacks or things they can take with them on the go. Those are things
Hmm.
you can make and just have available so that if you have that drive to have something or grab something quick and convenient, you can do it in a healthier way and it's delicious too.
Hmm.
So you don't really sacrificing anything. You're not feeling deprived. You still can have what you want and feel satisfied. And then as you do it more, you just notice your body feeling better. And then, like I said, that just keeps the momentum going.
Yeah, that's the validation is
Hmm.
when you
Hmm.
start feeling good and you realize you're not craving. It's not like bugging you. You're not thinking about it all the time because you're doing it right.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. I feel like I've learned so much in less than an hour.
Right?
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been really great information on something that I think everybody's heard about. Everybody has, in one point or another, encountered somebody they know with diabetes. It's talked about constantly in our news, and just to provide that, reassurance and that information to people is it's really nice to hear.
And
Thank
empower
you.
people
Hmm.
to take
Yes,
control of your health
Yeah.
yourself. You know, do what
that's
you
right.
can do.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's like a co-creative participation between your healthcare providers and you. So I just wanted to help share some ideas that people maybe don't think about when they think about food. Sometimes people just think it's a three-dimensional thing. You eat food, you like food, certain kind of foods you like, whatever, but there's much more to food than just food. It's like food is medicine.
Mm.
So making your food make your body healthy and also still enjoying it.
Colleen, thank you so much for joining us and talking about your book and the research and, of course, delicious food. We recommend anyone to pick up this book and give it a try because we can tell you that you'll
Hmm.
have some very delicious food if you make some of these recipes. I know we're going to try some more out of the book.
Hmm.
Can you tell our audience where to get the book and to follow along with you and Dr. John?
The book is available on Amazon.com. It's the Diabetes-Free Cookbook and Exercise Guide by Dr. John Putalil and Chef Colleen Cackowski. That's me. You can follow Dr. John on drjohnonhealth.com, or on Instagram. It's instagram.com/drjohnonhealth. And you can contact me at chefcolleenhello@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And we will put links to the social media and to the book in our show notes.
Okay.
So if you're listening, just scroll down and you can find it all right there.
Thank you
so much. Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your time and your knowledge.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And now for the fine print. Links to recipes and other things we talked about in this episode can be found in the show notes or on our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Come say hello on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. We'd love to connect. And if you enjoy the show, pass it on. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.